interacting in your own little world, are we going to see you coming together with some of the other characters?
It was really funny. In the pilot, I never actually got to work with any of the other actors. It wasn't until the second episode. So we finished the pilot, we're done, and we waited to hear that it got picked up. And throughout that whole time, months and months and months, I mean, I knew these people in Albuquerque when we filmed, but I never actually got to work with them until like 3 months later in episode 2. So we come together and we find a bomb is basically dropped on us. No. So we go our own separate ways and then we come back together. So yes, we do work together.
They do work together, yeah.
And Joel, will we see Peter reconnecting with Alice or learn anything about his family?
Not with Alice in season 1. I'm actually looking forward to that in hopefully later on seasons. But family does come into season 1 for Peter. He does learn history, his background, where he's from, a little bit about his parents, and in one episode he learns all of this, and it's very rough on him.
Can you talk about the casting process and how you guys came to the role?
I have never done that much TV before. I come from theater, so I've been in New York for the past 10 years doing Broadway and those things. So I came out to LA last pilot season. I went in for the role, just me and the casting director. I was told I wasn't right, but I felt like I was. So I put it on tape myself, and that's kind of how I got back in and got the pilot role. By being cocky, I guess.
So how different is this from theater?
It's very different and then very similar at the same time. When you're doing the same show, like 100 performances, and you're doing the same thing every night, you try and find little variations, and it's always a little different each night because you bring with you whatever happened that day to you. So, things will come out in different ways, and that's kind of what the beauty is of theater, is it's all happening right there. And I found that really helped me when we were shooting a scene. I'd get like 3 takes of something. I would try to never do the same take and just give it something else and try something else. So I felt like I was giving them options and not just, doing like the same kind of cookie cutter scene.
And there's no live audience.
And there's no live audience, and but it was great. I mean, it was like learning on the job for me. So it was a lot of fun. And everyone in the cast was so incredibly supportive and giving me advice, and it was just very collaborative, and it was really beautiful. I had a great time.
Are we going to find out the reason why you guys were specifically chosen to be messengers and kind of delve into you guys' backstory more?
It very much delves into everyone's backstory. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the great things about the show is it seems like it's, the pilot has very personal journeys for all of them. But even when they come together and they realize, what the higher cause is that they have to now work together to face, it still moves forward, and we find out it slowly unravels about each of their personal stories, how they ended up getting there, how this is affecting them personally and not just necessarily as the collective. But yeah, I mean, for Joshua specifically, it gets very dark, and a lot of things, like the pilot with the thing with the wife, and it gets worse.
Wow.
It gets worse.
How much worse?
No, it just, well, for him, I mean, it's an immediate shattering of his whole belief system when he wakes up. They preach prosperity in the church, and it's this one thing that he loves his dad, and he's looked up to his father who's taught him X, Y, and Z, and then he reawakens having seen the face of God, and it's just a very different God to what he's told, and he feels like he's cheated, and he feels like he's been cheated, and his whole belief system kind of comes crashing down in the pilot. And it's a very dark journey that he has to go on to come back to the light, should we say.
Joel, how is it being the youngest person in here? there? Are you razzed a lot? Are they telling you what to do, or are you just doing your own thing?
No, everybody on the cast and crew was great. We always had a lot of fun together on set. Afterwards, if they wanted to go out to a bar or drinking, I mean, I couldn't go then, but I had fun. I never really felt the age difference, really. It never really bothered me. I mean, kind of a fun, amicable guy, so no matter who I'm with, really, I just have fun.
I know, I'll be watching this show for the mythology, but my 12-year-old daughter is going to be watching for you.
Yeah. Good, great.
She's going to blush when I tell her I know that.
Even better.
What can you tease about how your characters will adapt to their gifts?
Okay. So at the end of the pilot, when Peter's gift kicks in, he loses control. So for Peter, that's what he's looking for control over something that he has none. So he really just doesn't want to lose control again, because he did something that will follow him the rest of his life. I mean, that's huge. He killed a kid. So that's what he's looking for throughout and he finds that through his emotional structure. At the pilot, he was just emotionally everywhere, not secure, not strong in any sense. But he finds that through the stability of the messengers who become a family to him, and inner strength and confidence, he really gains control over his strength.
You see all of the characters struggle with their gifts, and they find, it's revealed that there are consequences to them too. It's not just, now you're strong and you can do anything. There are consequences that come into play that are something else that they all have to navigate while trying to save the world.
Did you both get the parts that you originally wanted, or did you guys try out for a different part?
I actually tried out for the double. No, I'm kidding. I only on for audition.
Yeah, me too. Just Joshua.
How about this? Would you trade gifts with someone else on the show?
I'm looking forward to it.
What gift would that be?
I don't know. However, the writers wrote it in, but I'm looking forward to if that does happen. I think that'd be amazing.
I would take strength. He's got a good one.
Have we seen your gifts?
See it? Yeah. Well, you kind of see him kind of black out on the stage, and the second time, he kind of sees visions. It's just kind of touched on in the pilot.
It's obviously not strength, though.
It's obviously not strength, indeed.
Can we expect to see a lot of conflict between the angels, since you guys all come from different backgrounds and now you're being placed on boards?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the things that is very relatable about the show, even though it's this very heightened reality that they're in, is that it's about people having to work together to achieve a common goal, and they're all from different backgrounds with different faiths and different belief systems, and it will be a struggle for all of them. Yeah, it's not just now we got to do this. It's a constant struggle for them all, personally and collectively throughout.
So your character, you experienced, well, in the pilot, suicide, bullying, homosexuality, and foster. So that's really heavy. But they're a really important teen issues. How was that, dealing with that while you were?
It was actually really interesting. Peter had a really dark past that comes back to play in later episodes. He learns a little bit about his family, and you learn also a little bit of history about his first suicide attempt, which was also in a pool, which is kind of what leads them to believe that this was another one. But, I mean, he's a teenager. Teenagers have problems, bullies, everything. And he's really just... He's a teenager. He's learning how to navigate that horrible situation. I mean, it's truly awful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.